Welcome you to this online class of Python application programming. It's module 4 and we were discussing about classes and objects in our previous class. Okay, so what are classes? Classes are nothing but a programmer defined types which would help an individual or a programmer to build his own types rather than using the built-in types. I can try to define my own type, right? And how to create a class. Have we created a class in the last class? Python class in my previous session. Have we created a Python class in a previous session?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have created a Python class called point, which consists of two variables or attributes, x and y, correct? And I also saw how to create an object. The class object is just like a factory for creating objects. And how the objects can be created? Just by calling the class by its name and assigning it to a variable, it creates an object. Did we assign the values to an instance or an object in the last class? Have we assigned any value to an object?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, it is taking so much of time today. Is the Jupyter notebook visible?
No, sir.
No,
Huh?
sir. No, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, good. Yeah. Okay, so just let me repeat what we have done in our last class. So I have created a class called point using a keyword called class and a class name with a point. And I have just given a document statement here, a string, which defines what is this class. So what this class belongs to. And later I just assigned that class. I just called a class by assigning it to a variable called blank. Now this blank, I would be calling it as an object from now onwards. What is an object? Object is nothing but It's an instance of a class. So blank is an instance of a class called point. Okay. And now, what is blank? So blank is a blank belong to the class called point. And it has got its own specific memory location while computation or while processing. I can also assign an attributes. You can assign an attribute to the instance. Since we have declared a class called point, which consists of two attributes, because point can be represented using 2 points and a two-dimensional space, x comma y. So I say blank dot x is equal to 3, blank dot y is equal to 2. I can assign values to an attributes, okay, or to an instance using dot notation. And then what do you mean by blank dot x now? So blank dot x says that go to the object called blank and get the value of x. So it means go to the object called blank, which is an alias to the class called point, and get the value of x or an attribute of x. You can also use dot notations. See here, you can also use instances as part of any expression. It can be used to print. Okay. Okay, now let's see. So it can be used, this dot notations or and instances can be part of any expressions. You can also pass an instance. I've used the square root, the distance calculation I've done using this dot x. You can also use the instances as an input argument to any given function. And when you say p as an instance, see here, the p is an instance, which is an alias to a blank when you call a function called print underscore point. So print underscore point is a function here, and blank is an alias to p. So whatever values or whatever values been carried by this instance blank along with its attributes will be an alias here. Understand, will be an alias here. So how many attributes are there related to the blank? There are two attributes, x and y. So p is an instance again, which is an alias to blank, carries two attributes, p dot x and p dot y. So this is just another instance I have created. I have blank 1. Now this is blank 2. I can create n number of instances. Let me just, okay. I can create n number of instances, just like blank and blank 2 I've created. Okay. So in this class, we shall see sometimes it becomes very obvious when the attributes of an object, okay, what the attributes of an object should be. What should be the attributes of an object? Or some other times you have to make decisions, okay, how many attributes are there, and you may have to change the values. You may have to change the values of those objects or of those particular instances or attributes. So how are you going to do this? So there are two possibilities. Suppose if you assume there is a rectangle, the attributes of rectangle you want to specify. Just we shall go to the program directly. Suppose if you want to rectangle. Okay. Now just imagine how are you going to create the attributes of the rectangle, ignoring the angles. You can ignore the angles just to make it very simple. So how are you going to assume the rectangle? Either it is vertical or horizontal, you don't have to worry. So what you can do, Can you specify the corner of the rectangle, the width and the height? Correct? Yes or no? So what I need to do? So I will create a class called rectangle, class rectangle. Be careful, this is case sensitive, class rectangle. Now I have attributes. So what are the attributes? The attributes are, how do you create a rectangle ignoring corners? You can create a rectangle with these attributes: width, height and a corner. Okay, width, height and a corner. Now let us be more specific now. So I have created this rectangle. I'll go to the next cell. Now I shall say box is equal to, because rectangle is a box, so I call this as a box, is equal to rectangle. Okay. So what is box now? Can anybody tell what is box? Guys, box is an instance, box is also called as an object, but I don't call box as a variable from now on, because box is an instance of a rectangle, and rectangle belongs to a class which represents a rectangle and has got attributes width, height and corner. Can I say box dot width is equal to box dot width to give some value to this attribute called width? Guys, can I use box dot width, use dot notation to give values to an instance? Just listening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now I'll give some value to this instance box dot width, and likewise I'll give some value to an instance box dot height as 200. And now it's the time to declare a corner, right? So can I say box dot corner is equal to, is the corner represented with two variables x comma y, or 0 comma 0 if it is at the origin? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
is corner a point? Yeah, first I need some answers. Is corner a point
Yes, sir.
in a rectangle? So now can I use this box dot corner attribute or an instance to call another class, that is point? Is it okay? Can I do this? First, can I do this? And is it wrong assigning like point, because point is it belongs to a class which has got two attributes, and I say box dot corner is equal to point. It is just like blank is equal to point, because this is also an instance, right? Now instead of saying blank, because I'm creating an attribute called corner, okay, to the rectangle, I just assigned this class to this attribute. So I can assign instance to an attribute, correct? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, as you have seen, point will have two attributes. How to assign attributes to those two values? Now I can say box dot corner dot x. What do you mean by box dot corner dot x? It means box, go to the object called box. Go to the object called box. Okay. Refers to and select the attribute named corner. So it will go to box and then it will select the attribute called corner and then go to the object and select the attribute named X. See, and then select X. It is very simple. Go to an instance or an object called box. Inside box you have a corner and inside corner you have an attribute called X. So now I'll assign this as 0. Correct? And similarly, I can say box dot corner dot y is equal to 0.0. Just in order to say this box or rectangle is at the origin. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now an object that is an attribute can also be an object which is embedded inside it. Here, this is an attribute of an object called box, can be another object. And here, if you look at this dot notations, this is nothing but, say corner dot x is an attribute of an object called point dot x. Box dot corner dot x becomes an attribute of an attribute called box. Okay, attribute of an object. So it's just like that. So now this is one example where you could see the complex way of assigning instance, right? Assigning instance to an attribute which is also an object again. So this becomes an object. See here, box dot corner becomes an object if you are referring to point, whereas box dot corner becomes an attribute if you are referring to the class rectangle. So for box dot corner becomes an attribute. For box dot corner with respect to x, box dot corner becomes an object. So it's a dual rule. Very important. So understand. Okay. In simple words, for an attribute, you can assign an instance. Okay, you can create an instance for an attribute. Okay, so now we have also seen the functions can return instances. For example, if I want to find the center of a rectangle, which takes an argument and returns a point which is the center of a rectangle. How do you calculate the center of the rectangle? Guys, how do you calculate the center of the rectangle? You don't know how to calculate the center of the rectangle?
The intersection
So,
of the
Intersection of the diameters.
So x comma y is equal to width by 2 comma height by 2. You'll get the center point of the rectangle. So what makes you that difficult? Can I create a function which returns an instance? Function that can return an instance. For example, I will create so this is a function. Carefully understand this program. This is a function called find underscore center, which takes an input argument as RECT. Okay, RECT will be an alias to the input argument which will be called by the user, maybe in the next cell, which has got a point, p is equal to point. See here, you can call an instance called point, and p consists of two attributes, p dot x and p dot y. How are you going to create a new values to p dot x? P dot x is equal to rect dot corner dot x, that is an origin, if it is an origin, plus rect dot width divided by 2 the rectangular width divided by 2 and it adds to the origin. P dot y is equal to y and height divided by 2 and it will return the value of an instance. So what is P? P is an instance and it returns the value of an instance. So now my function is ready. I just declared the function called find underscore center. So before that I have to, can I use box as an input argument here? Can I use box as an input argument here? Find underscore center of, what do you mean by box now? Is what do you mean by box? Is box an alias to a rect here? First, I need some answers. I think you guys are having your breakfast.
Yes. They are an alliance.
Having breakfast, so I want to have some time to finish your breakfast and come back to the class.
No, sir.
Then just answer. What is box here? Box is an instance, and it is an alias to rectangle. RECT, and that's just created a function called find underscore center. But what actually box consists of? Does box consist of box dot width, box dot height, all these attributes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, what do you mean by rect dot corner dot x? What do you mean by rect dot corner dot x? Is it something similar to box dot corner dot x? Because rect becomes an alias to box here. So now, wherever there is rect inside this function, replace it by box. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
now, box dot corner dot x, is it plus box dot width? What is box dot width? Box dot width is nothing but 100. Correct? 100. So
Yes, sir.
the new value for P will be generated. The P is another instance here. It will not get overlapped with your blank. Don't worry, it will not get overlapped with your blank here. In future, P is a new instance. Why? Because you have created a new instance called P is equal to point. So now P dot X, the attribute to this instance is equal to half of the width of the value here, 100. So that is 50. Similarly, P dot Y is a new instant is equal to rect dot corner dot Y. What is rect dot corner dot Y? This is 0. Why? Because box dot corner dot Y is equal to 0 plus rect dot height is an alias to box dot height. So that becomes 200 by 2. That is 100. So what is the answer? It returns the instance. Here, see, guys, it returns an instance. The significance of this program is, after using the instances inside the function, it can return the instance as an output of the function. Correct? So no. Understand? So just let me know if you have any doubt. Now if I run this program, I would say center CNTER is equal to find underscore center dot box. So what is center now? Center is an instance value. What is center? You can see center CENTER. See this? Center is an instance to the point with some other memory location. In general, you could say it is an object. It is an object. Okay? It's an object which referred to the class called point. It is just like type of A is equal to 2 becomes an integer, which belongs to the class integer. Similar to that, you have the center is equal to, it's an object. So can I say, can I use this, pass this center as an input argument to this function, this function? Can I use this function? And instead of center, so can I call center as an alias to P to print the values of the center point of the rectangle? I can use the function print underscore point and just say center. I just try to minimize this so that you can understand. Where is the print statement? Yeah, here. So here P is an alias to this center. Center is an returned instance from this function. Okay. Center is a returned instance of this function. And now center is an object or an instance. I'll give the center as an input argument to the function just to print the center points. Just to print this center point. Okay. So as calculated orally, you could refer the center point of the rectangle is 50, 100. So here I obtained instances as a return values and I given it to another function as an input argument. The values of the center. So in this example, here in this example, it passes box as an argument and assigns the resulting point to the center. That's it. Here this is a box as an input argument and then assigns the returned value of this function to the center. And I use this as an instance to point. Okay. Any doubt? Guys, just let me know if you have any doubt here.
No, sir.
Okay, good. So now, can I change the state of an object by making an assignment to one of its attribute? Can I change the state, I mean to say the value of an object by making an assignment to one of its attribute? Can I change the values of an object? Can I do it? Suppose, with respect to the same example, can I change the size of the rectangle without changing its position? Position, let it be 0, 0. I don't mind. Can I change the size of a width and a height? So to do that, you need to modify the values of width and height, isn't it? So what is the value for width? Just say box dot width and see what is box dot width. I shall put it here, box dot height also, box dot height. So these are my previous values, box dot width, box dot height. And can I increment or decrement, or can I change the state of the values towards these objects or attributes? Can I change it? You can modify the values of width and height by calling box dot width is equal to box dot width is equal to box dot width plus 2, width plus say 50. And similarly, I can change the value of an object, that is box dot height is equal to box dot height plus 100. I've just incremented the values of width by 50 and height by 100. So now what is the value? Oh, it became 200. earlier value also it is taken. So let me just try to assign box dot width. What is the new value of box dot width? It was 100 plus 50. It should be 150, right? Why am I getting 200 here? Okay, now it looks fine. So box dot width plus 50. So it changes the value of the box, the state of an object, and the height also. You can also write the functions to modify the object. How are you going to write the function? I'll write a function, say def, write a function called def, and I'll call the function name as grow rectangle. I am trying to increase, right? I am trying to increase the width and height. So I say grow rectangle, grow underscore rectangle. This is my new function, and what it will take, it should take is, what should be the input? Can anybody tell what is the input? Can I simply say rect and then I use rect dot width plus equal to d width, or rect dot width is equal to plus 50. Let me just give 50, and then rect dot width plus equal to, because I have given 100 here, I'll give 100. Is it okay? Any confusion?
No, sir.
Then say enter,
No, sir.
and then now I can use this. See here, I can use this function grow underscore rectangle of, can I say box? If I say box, box is an alias to rect dot width is an alias to box dot width, oh sorry, this should be height. So width I incremented with 50, box is an alias to rect dot height is an alias to box dot height, and I incremented this by 100. So what are my new values now? Guys, what are my new values? The new values will be 200 comma. Oh, I'm getting 300 here. So let me just try to verify this from where I'm getting this increments. So 350 comma 400. So before this, let me just try to put what is the height and width, because I'm getting confused here. So let us just try to put what is height and width here. So it is 400 comma 500. Now if I give this box,
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
So screen is stuck, sir.
one. For others, how about others?
It's
Yes,
still
sir.
the 37th line, sir.
Screen, what is the visible for you?
Def grow rectangle of rect width plus is equal to invalid
Okay,
syntax.
fine. Oh, you're still in. Okay, fine. Yeah. Just let me know when it passes out. Just let me know when you have the huh? Got it?
No, sir, it's still stuck.
Okay.
Yes, sir, now it's fine.
What is that visible?
P.X. Name error.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. So now we are discussing about these things. So since I can create my own function which allows a rectangle to grow by width and height with some values. That is 50 and 100 respectively here in this case, just like your previous example. Now since this width and height has been changed multiple times in my example, so the new box width, box height is 500 comma 700. The width of the rectangle is 500, the width of the height of the rectangle is 700. Now again 500 plus 50, 700 plus 100, it would become 550 plus 800. Now here 550 plus 800, I can write an individual expressions to increment the width or height, or else I can write the function which increments the rectangle with 50 and 100. So the answer should be 600 and 900, right? 550 and 800. Why the, okay, here. So this is 550 and 800. Why this box dot height is not being incremented? Okay, so this was before and this was 550 is 600 plus this is 900, correct? As carefully observe, this was before. This is 550 plus 800, and then now I give this value, that is an instance. I pass it as an argument to grow underscore rectangle, and this box is an alias to rect. Okay, is alias to rect plus equal to 50 plus equal to 100. So this would become 550 plus 50, 800 plus 100. So this will be 600 comma 900. Okay. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Yes, guys. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So also, instead of giving 50 and 100, I can ask user along with this box. I can ask user to give 50 comma 100 also. Is it okay? So in order to make sure the user is giving the slack values, the incremental values as an input argument, this should be an alias to another variable inside the function. So I call it as d width, the differential amount of width. D width, differential width is an alias to 50 here, comma, differential height is an alias to 100 here. So now this I will try to add here with d width and d height, the differential amount of height, I will add it here. Does it make sense now? Is there any difference? It's one and the same, right? So now the user has got a liberty to give an incremental values as an, pass it as an input arguments. See here, I am giving to a grow underscore rectangle, it is a function here. And I give box, which is an instance, understand, which is an instance. What is the value? The new value is 600 comma 900 now. You can check, the value is 600 comma 900. I did not run this program. I just simply run this program. So box dot width is 600 comma 900. Now, if I give this box as an input argument here, this is an object or an instance which is an alias to rectangle. Dot width is an alias to box dot width, that is 600, plus equal to d width. D width is an alias to 50, and this rect dot width is incremented with 600 plus 50, that becomes 650. So now if I run this program, so it should be 650 and 1000. Oh, so it takes one positional argument, but 3 were given. Okay, now it's working. So you could see box dot 50, comma 100. So it is rectangular, d width and d height. So d width, d height are alias to 50 and 100, which will get added to my previous values, that is 600 and 900 are my previous values. So 600 plus 50, 900 plus 100. Now my new rectangle, which has grown with a width of 650 and with a height of 1000. So inside the function rect is an alias for box. So when the function modifies rect, box also changes. See here, rect also changes. See, this rect will have an influence on this box. So whatever happens to rect will be reflected for box. Now you see what are the values of all these variables. So what is box now? Box is a rectangle, and box dot corner dot x, box dot corner dot x is still 0 because I have not changed the value of box dot corner dot x, and box dot corner dot y I have not changed anything. Okay, but box dot width and box dot height got changed to 650 and 1000. And what are the other attributes? The other attributes were, okay, that's it. So these are the attributes. Started with 100, and now I have some incremental of those values. If I want to find the center of this box, I can simply use this function, right? I can simply use this function and just say center is 325, that is half of 650, and half of 1000 is 500. And again, I'm giving the same box values here. See, I'm just giving the box instance here. That means a user can define his own attributes. User can give his own input for an incremental values and can change the object. So can I say objects are mutable? Well, by looking to these examples, which started from here, can I say objects are mutable? From here, all this example, whatever we did, this says objects are mutable. That means you can change the values or state of an object. Correct? Any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us just try to see the last topic of this classes and objects. I'm still in classes and objects. Okay. So we'll try to discuss about the topic called copy. Can I create a copy of an object? This is very important. Can I create a copy of an object? Can I have an alias of an object? You can have. Up to what extent? Okay, up to what extent you want to copy the entire object. See, just I'll take the same previous examples. Did you had a box as an object, which was a rectangle? Yes or no? Is it an object? Guys, is it an object? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
and what all the things box contained. Box contained corner, okay, box contained corner, box contained width, box contained height. And with respect to the corner, box contained corner dot x, box contained corner dot y, box dot corner dot x, box dot corner dot y. Now if I simply say copy box, whether you are asking to copy the entire module called box including those corner points, or you're not copying any attributes, or you're not copying any values of the attributes inside the box. There are two different types of copying which we are going to discuss in this coming few minutes. Okay, so copying an object is usually an alternative to aliasing. You have a module called copy, okay, contains a function called copy. So before I use copy, I have a module called copy. I will import first. I have to import copy. Here I have to import, first import copy. Inside copy you have another method called copy that we will use it now. Let me just try to define P1 as an object. P1, this is an object of a point. I'll take the same example. P1 is an object to point, and I have some two different values. P1 dot x is equal to 3.0 and P1 dot y is equal to 4.0. Okay, is it okay? So now I have an object P1, which is an object of a class called point, and I had two attributes P1 dot x, P1 dot y. Now I'll import copy and I say I'll create a new object called P2, which is a copy of, copy dot copy is a method inside copy. There are so many methods inside copy now. You have deep copy, shallow copy, you have no copy, you have delete copy. You have so many methods inside copy. Okay, but now I'm trying to copy the entire class to another object. Can I say copy dot copy of P1? So what is P2 now? P2 is an alias or an exact copy of P1. Now let us just try to verify what happens. I'll say print underscore point P1. I'll say print underscore point P1. So what I should get? 3,4. I should get 3,4. Let me just minimize this. And if I say print underscore point P2, what I should get? Same values, right? 3,4. Okay, fine, good. So this has completely copied the values of the attributes. Now I shall verify. P1 is P2. P1 is P2. It says false. Why it says false? Though you have same values, okay, though you have same values, but it refers to two different objects. That is P2 and P1 are two different objects. Correct? P1 and P2 contains the same data, but they are not the same point. Guys, understand? If I say P2 dot x is equal to 4.0 or say 5.0, right? It shall not be reflected in P1 dot x. Just verify P1 dot x. P1 dot x is still 3. Understand? So that is why you are getting this as false statement. Is it okay? Say yes or no.
Yes,
Though
sir.
you said P2 is equal to copy dot copy of P1, okay? So still, whatever changes that you make to P2 will not be reflected in P1. That is why you are getting false, because P1 and P2 are two different objects. You can also verify P1 equal to P2. Again, you'll get false. So this is operator indicates that P1 and P2 are not the same object. That is what we expected. That is fine. Okay, that is fine. That's good. But you might have expected equal to also true. But these point contain the same data. Because these point contain the same data, you expected P1 should be equal to P2 because there were two values, same values. But again, I'll say the default behavior of the equal to operator is same as the is operator. It will never verify the object equivalence. It will not verify the object whether it's equivalent or not. Why? Because you have defined it. So now let us just try to see the other aspect of this copy. I'll just try to use the copy to duplicate a rectangle. So now rectangle is with respect to the box. Can I say box 2 is equal to copy dot copy box? Can I create an equivalent as box 2 is equal to copy dot copy box? Is it okay? Is fast.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you run this program. Now let me see box 2 is box. What is your answer? Box 2 is box. Is it same as box? Fast. Come on, fast. Box 2 is box, just like this. P1 is P2. P1 is P2. It was false. Box 2 is box. Is it true or false? Why? Is it true or false? Hello?
False, sir.
Good. So it is false. Can I check with box 2 dot corner is box dot corner? What is your answer? What is your answer? Come on, fast. I don't have time. So it is true. Why? Because box 2 dot corner is box dot corner. It says true. Because the copy module, okay, the copy module refers to the box only or refers to the object only, but not the embedded objects inside it. Understand? This is called a shallow copy. The operation is called a shallow copy that copies the object and any references it contains, but not the embedded object. So if you have any objects embedded inside it, see here why this is true. This is true because it's a, okay, let me just here. This operation is called a shallow copy. Why? Because it copies the object and any object reference it contains, but not the embedded object. See here, I had an embedded object called corner.x. This box2.corner, it had got another object that is corner.x, corner.y. You remember? Whereas if you see box2.width is box.width, and just say it's true again. Correct? Why? Because it is an object. So this operation is called a shallow copy. because it copies the object and any references it contains, but not the embedded object. So what I want to do, if you want to copy the deep copy, use deep copy. Now I will say box 3, just in order to make sure box 3 is equal to copy dot deep copy. Okay, I use deep copy here to overcome the problem. I will use deep copy to overcome the above problem, in which I will copy the embedded objects also. So now if I say box 3 is box. Okay, box 3 is box. It says false. Let me copy this here and check with dot corner other objects which are embedded in box 3 as well as box. Now it says false. This is the main difference. Box dot corner, box dot width. Now you could understand, if I use deep copy, it exactly creates the replica of the particular class, including the embedded objects. If you use deep copy, if you simply say copy, right, this problem will come. What is this problem? It copies all the object and its references, but not the embedded objects inside it. Understand? So difference between shallow copy and deep copy. It's a very important concept. Okay, this is an assignment and just work it out. Let me see. So shallow versus deep copy with some examples. Okay. Yeah. So this is all about today's class. So make sure you understand this shallow versus deep copy. Very important concept. Okay. And try with some more examples. What happens if I use only copy? What happens if I use deep copy? So for shallow, it is simply copy dot copy method, and for deep copy, it is copy dot deep copy method. Okay, so these are the constructors. Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you for attending the session. Maybe there was a 5 minutes delay and 5 minutes additional time. So just excuse me from this additional amount of time consumed in this class. Just convey my regrets to the class teacher, subject teacher. Okay. Thank you guys. Take care. Stay safe.